Recording.
All right, I think that's go. Can I play it? I think we're live.
I think so too,
Yep.
yeah. Let me check.
All right. The health is good. We're go.
Yay.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the UBports Community Q&A for April 15th, 2017. Let's start off just introducing everyone who's here. So let's start from the left on my screen. We've got Jan.
Okay, yeah, my name is Jan Sprins. You probably know me as Neo the Third, and I help with community management on UBports. I'm from Germany and I study game engineering, so that's me.
All right, let's move on to Marius Quebec.
Yeah, well, I'm Als Krabek. You maybe know me from other projects like the Magic Device Store or Ubuntu and at UBports, I'm also doing the community team stuff.
All right. Other Marius?
Yeah, my name is Marius Gipsgaard, and I'm the main developer at UBports. You probably know me as Mario Grip. I'm the guy that ported to the 1+1 was the first device, probably the one that I'm most known for. Yeah, and I'm from Norway.
All right, and now we'll move on to the UBports logo.
You forgot yourself.
Hi, I'm
Oh.
UBports. I'm
Just
Chloe,
in general.
just in general. I'm Chloe. Probably know me on Telegram. So I'm Chloe Water Girl. I do community stuff, like run the Twitter.
All right, and I am Dalton Durst. I do things.
You do many things.
I do a few things, not many. I work mostly on the community team. I did a lot of the documentation we have in the wiki right now, and that is about it.
You're also writing all the blog posts over at the UBports blog.
Oh yeah, the UBports blog at blog.ubports.com. You should
Great.
totally check that out.
That's a good blog.
That's a good blog. All right, so shall we start with what's been going on in the past week?
Sure.
Okay.
So, what has happened since our last Q&A?
No, what's been going on the last week? There's your question.
Well, okay. Marius, will you go first?
Marius?
Yeah. Well, okay. What's going on? A lot of things have. Yep. I forgot.
Yep,
to
a lot of
invite
things. There we go.
on.
No, you were on. You're good.
Well, a lot of things have been happening. Echo, have echo?
Does anyone have echo?
You're probably having the YouTube video in another tab.
Okay. Let's start with the things that have been happening for myself, at least. I've been doing some work on Mir and trying to get Mir working on top of Wayland. Else than that, not really much have been happening different from last time. Some decisions have been made, and also some stuff we have been discussing with the unit guys about maybe having some kind of working together on some kind of upstream. We also decided to have support all official devices but probably most of them in legacy mode. We also have the idea to fork the open store to have our own store, and also we heard that in 2 months all support and all the official support for devices will end. No more security updates from Canonical at all. So after that, we also will take over all the Canonical devices. Other than that, not much have been happening since last time.
All right. That's kind of a summary of our project right now. Aside everything.
Kinda, yeah.
So if I can move my windows the way that I want them here, there we go. All right. So should we get right into the questions then?
Sure.
All right. So let's find the first thing that I have in the forum here. All right. What is our plan for supporting the official devices? Because this is one that we've been getting a lot and one that we need to answer a lot, especially with the newer news coming in from Canonical now.
Yeah, and I probably already answered that question, but yes, we will support all the official devices and we will provide security updates for them. We will put them in kind of a legacy mode, but that excluding the Pro 5 and the tablet. All other devices except them will be in this legacy mode. And with legacy mode, we means only security updates and also critical bugs that will be fixed for those devices. They probably won't get updated to newer version of Ubuntu. They will probably just stay as they are. But at least we have the plan to support them with critical bug fixes. And also, when the store goes away, we probably have our own store running on that.
Maybe let me add right to that topic for the store. What I did last week was basically I've downloaded all the apps from the official Ubuntu store, and not one by one. There are other tools on the Launchpad that allow you to mirror everything from the Click store, which also includes some of the snaps. And I've also mirrored the whole system image server from Canonical. So we don't have to port or build all the ports from Canonical again. We can reuse some of them until we have all the sources and build our own stuff again. So we've also looked into that because we are aware of the end of life date that Canonical put out.
All right. Does anyone have anything else on that? All right. Let's see. We'll have in the application store. We got that one. How will the infrastructure of OTA update with that switch over? Yeah.
Have we thought about it yet?
So, yeah.
Well,
We won't have
But go ahead.
Canonical signing key. We won't have Canonical signing key, so we would have to reflash the devices, correct?
Right. I think there is no real good option for that. The only thing would be the user would need to reflash. Because, yeah, as you said, the keys that are in the recovery won't be able to just switch image server and update server for it. So that's kind of a hard topic. If Canonical wants us to take over, they can push an update that will kind of move them over to us, but I really don't think that would happen. So else than that, they need to reflash it, or we can make a script that does this automatically, that just replaces the kernel, and then the updater would switch to a different server. But then again, it would be the same as just reflashing the device, really.
So like some type of magic device tool, you might say.
Right. Yes, some kind of magic tool device, yes.
Magic example script.
Make
Magic
it.
Yeah, the Marius device tool. Yeah.
Mirror device, yeah, I definitely have to rebrand those.
All right. Would be the probable stat. All right, that's another one about the updates. Which mobile phone do you recommend I buy? The device status for the Hammerhead is released, whereas Bullhead is waiting. And of course, he continues on to, when will the porting for the Nexus 5X be completed?
Oh yeah, there are actually, when you mentioned that, I will say at this stage, you probably can't get a hold of a new Nexus 5, since they are end of life, we probably need to buy it secondhand. Or you can buy it from some stock in China that have been sitting for some years. But else than that, the only phones you can get is the OnePlus One, still in sale, and the Fairphone. I don't know if you can buy it, but you can at least pre-order it. So right now, if you're fine with second option, second-hand option, Nexus 5 is great. Else than that, the only thing you can buy new now, I think, is the OnePlus One. And then about the build head or Nexus 5X.
And the Fairphone 2 also.
Yeah, I already mentioned the Fairphone 2.
The Pro 5 might be an option in the future, but not now.
No, Pro 5. I wouldn't recommend that now, since first of all, that's have no support right now, and for our to support it further will still take some times. And one of the problems with the Pro 5 is that we don't have the Android source code, because all official devices has
it's pretty locked down for flashing.
Yeah, and not only for flashing, but we can't modify the Android source, since it's not open source. The Android source on those devices are closed. So I would really recommend. I would say OnePlus One at this stage. Yes. But for build head, it's coming. It might come sooner than you think. Yeah.
Okay, you're teasing me with that one too. You know that, right? You're
Yes.
teasing me.
We have some
Time
interesting.
you have to get another device.
Yeah, we
I'll
have
ship
some.
you mine. It'll probably die by the time we get there.
We have hopefully some good things that will happen between Sailfish and Plasma, and all the gangs
Oh.
come together.
I just
Yeah,
want to say,
why don't we? Sorry.
I can't wait until we do a Q&A and we see Marius like swimming towards the camera because of all the phones that are in the background.
I'm working on that right now.
That would be a hard.
So why don't we
wave.
go?
Nothing.
It'd be fine. It would be fine. So since you did mention the collaboration, why don't we go into that? So first, between UBports, Mur, Sailfish, whatever they are called right now, and Plasma Mobile.
Right. There is no official plans yet, but we are at least trying to get together with them and hopefully make a base that that can run anything. It's more like it's ported once but can run any OS. That's kind of the idea of it, where the base ensure that it always works, and then you can slap anything off top of it. Kind of like it is with desktop. That's the idea, where you can just slap on whatever and it just works.
Right. So kind of a, for people who don't know, Android uses the Bionic library, which is incompatible with regular Linux stuff. So we have to use something called libhybris to translate between Bionic and glibc.
Yeah.
And that's what causes the issues with porting. It's not as easy as porting just a copy of Android.
I wouldn't say. I would say that the problem really is binary blobs. I can start with that. The reason why we have Android there is because we have to run the binary blobs or the closed source drivers from the manufacturers of the phone, and
Right.
that's what makes us use Android. If those wasn't there, if those was open source, we could port them to run on top of just Linux, instead of running inside an Android container that runs on top of the OS, or at the side, I would say. Because now we have the OS, which talks to libhybris, which then libhybris talks to Android and back to the kernel and all the stuff that's go around there. So I would say the problem is the main problem is the binary blobs, and that's what makes porting hard, really hard, really, because we have no way of looking through the source code. We have no way how the binary blobs works. We just have to look at how it builds into Android. That's probably the easiest way. Look how it is built into Android, and then we recreate that and make the binary blobs think that it runs on Android. That's the easiest way to explain it.
Right, so that's an interesting look into the life of Marius for the past several years.
Well, yeah. I started with Android though, so it's kind of familiar.
Yeah. Where was I going, though?
I don't know.
So the point between the collaboration is to have one layer that we can all port to a phone, and then you can run multiple different operating systems on top of it, is what,
Right.
to translate.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. What's happening now is that when I port something, I probably do exactly the same work as Plasma is doing when they are porting, and exactly the same work happens again when Selfish are porting to a device. So essentially what we do is we have 3 separate guys sitting porting the same device, doing the same exact work, but just doing it again, really. So that's what we are trying to do, to just compile this into one team. That's the idea around, and that's the dream, really.
Mhm.
To have one team that does all this together, work together, and then just burn to as many devices as we can, and then people that want to try out Selfie can just slap on selfies on top of a device, and it should just work. That's the dream of it. It sounds really cool, and if we get it to work, I think that would be a step forward, at least for the mobile generation of Linux.
All right.
So
All right.
this
Does anyone else
already
have any
answers
questions so that I'm not
another.
asking them all?
This also answers another question we've been getting a lot. That's when will there be new ports? So there probably won't be any until we release our new until we are done taking over all the infrastructure from Canonical. But after that, we'll probably have compatibility with all the Sailfish and Mir. And what was the other one?
Plasma and
Plasma mobile devices. So
maybe some others.
yeah, and after that, porting will be way easier. Is that right?
Yes, and also one of the things that we at least hope we can do better is have work together on one documentation. So we have
Finally, yeah.
many eyes looking and making one documentation instead of each team making one documentation, and our team.
Several others were not working, yeah.
Yeah, and now the Ubuntu touch porting guy is crap. I just have to say it.
I think it's also gone by now.
It's gone.
I think so, yeah. They
Well,
removed a
that's-
bunch of the phone and tablet related stuff lately.
Yeah.
Still should be in the wiki archive, but as you said, it's not really working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no use really. It just explains you how to build it, but it doesn't say what happens if Bluetooth doesn't work, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would also say even the example that they've provided with, I guess it was porting for the Nexus 4, yeah. Even that didn't work.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried it several times when I tried to improve the documentation and I failed.
Yeah,
Oh
it's-
no. All right. Do either of you have more questions? I mean, I do, but
Well,
let's
I do
spread
too.
this out.
Daniel Wood was asking on Telegram, what will happen to the core apps? Are we going to manage them? Because he also points out that there are a few of, well, that there are basically a lot of other developers who don't have a chance to commit lots of their hours or time to improve the apps, but they want to try some bugs or even try to improve some small things. What was our policy on the core apps again?
Yeah, I think what we discussed last time was that we move it over to GitHub, and then first of all, GitHub is much easier to work together on. I would say, at least most users say that.
For everyone else who's not used to Launchpad, yes.
Yeah, and also with GitHub, it's also a thing that developer is known with. And like every developer know GitHub. So I think we will start moving them over pretty soon. And then we will start building them ourselves. And when we start building it ourselves, the development itself will be much easier because we know that they will be built, because we want one of the things that we don't want is to start editing stuff without having the build infrastructure up and running, because if we make some mistakes and we don't notice it without a CA server that builds it, we might end up with a code that doesn't work and we had to revert back, and all thing that we already done is lost. So that's why we need to have the build infrastructure and everything around it working before we start doing active developing on it.
Yes. Also, as a follow-up question from Daniel, he was also asking what our plans are for the App Store. We already explained that we are going to fork or reuse, at least reuse the Open Store. And also, as I've explained earlier, that I've mirrored all of the Click apps from the store. Clearly, we can't just copy-paste into the new server as easy as that would be. We clearly have to look into the licensing, and we will also get in contact with the developers of most of the apps or of the main apps and ask them if they are willing to move over to the new build and store infrastructure. And if they are not and the license allows it, then we will go to fork the app. And but clearly we want to we clearly try to not do that, because then we have to also maintain the app. But yeah, in the end, we are also trying to get most of the popular apps over into the new store.
Yeah, and we are also looking for people to maintain those apps.
Absolutely.
Because, what UBports has been doing and what the UBports guys are good at is porting and like low-level work, but we are always looking for new people to do Qt development. And so if you want to adopt an app for your Ubuntu Touch, or you want to write a new one, you're always welcome.
All right. Thank you. And moving on into the UBports fan club chat, Paul H. asks, are there plans to substitute Ubuntu One services, like push notifications? That'll be a question to move to infrastructure, won't it?
That's
Right.
correct. I think Flo is on its way to his PC. He's not at home right now.
Yeah, he is. Followed by, will Anbox fit into the future plans?
I can start with the Ubuntu One first. When I'm the push notification, as we said last time, we will move that to locally. We don't want to have any servers to receive notification. So that will probably move over to locally, and we all hopefully will have the push notification system made better than it is now. We plan to open it up more than it is, because now it's just not working that well. And also with Ubuntu One, we probably still will use the OpenID things since they are already there. We probably won't change that, at least
We
not
could
in
technically move the OAuth stuff to our infrastructure, but there's no need for that.
There's
At
no
least
not yet, at least. And for Nbox, yes, I don't have charge on my 1+1, but I already have Nbox working. So yes, that is coming, and yes, that that is awesome. Yes.
So some people maybe didn't hear about Nbox. Can you explain what that is?
Well, Nbox is basically you run Android in a container, but it's not running. It's not a virtual thing. It's running just in a container, but it still uses the Linux kernel. So it's nothing like running VirtualBox or something like that. It's running pretty tight into the system.
Also way faster.
So
Way
it's
fast, yeah.
like Wine for Android apps.
Still way faster, yeah.
No, it's not like one because it's pretty much the whole Android system, but it's pretty slimmed down. But you can more compare it to what Google is doing on Chromium. That this Chromium thing that can run Android apps on Chromebooks. It's more similar to that, but not quite. But it's more like it's running. I don't know if you heard about chroot or LXD, where it's running. It's still using the same kernel, but it's running a different environment. It's difficult to explain it, but
It's magic. So
it's magic. Yes.
There it is. All right.
Maybe let me answer the next question on the forum. Alex was asking, will you still support the tablet BQ M10 Full HD? As far as you know, Canonical was developing the snap images on it. Yeah, we already answered that in the last hangout. Yeah, the BQ tablet is also on our list of future devices, and I think it's also on the non-legacy device list, as far as I know.
Well, it will be kind of in between because we can't modify the Android thing, so that's a bit bummer. But since that already has 1604 support, it will be kind of an in-between device. But if something needs to be modified in the Android thing, that device can't get the support. That's just if BQ opens up the Android kernel. And not the Android kernel, the kernel is already open, but the Android source tree. If that opened us up, we can do it. But how it is now, we don't have access to the source.
And it's highly unlikely that this is going to change. And also because I was wanting to take over that question, it's from Alex, and I've met him last month at a technical conference in Hamburg. And I hope he's watching this. And he also sent me an email with a few other questions about Ubuntu Touch, and I think we should answer that questions because they were very technical on the forum later.
Yep.
I've also got another question from Daniel Wood. He was asking, and this is a tough one, what does the future hold for the SDK?
For the SDK,
assuming that all the other stuff is already working.
well, I would say that will probably stay as it is for now.
Just a few of the phones.
But what we want here is to more standardize the thing so it goes closer to what's happening upstream in Qt. Really, it will stay as it is. I have, or myself haven't even think about it. So, well, for that we'll probably stay. But no decision is made there yet. So
we'll put that on the to-do list.
yeah,
or very, very later on. Yeah.
Yep, that's after we.
Too long to-do list.
That's after we get everything working so that we can build Ubuntu Touch, build the Android under it, build the images, all on our own infrastructure, get the Snap Store or Click Store working. Yeah, it's a ways down the list.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And moving on. Lorik in the forum asks, do we still want to make Mir run on top of Wayland if Canonical is going to keep working on Mir?
Yeah. Um, well, this is also something I hear a lot. Uh, First of all,
Right. So
people. Yeah, go ahead.
it's kind of a thing, both with us and with the F-Stream unit guys, because the community doesn't want to maintain two forks of Unity 8. That's kind of silly for all of us. Running Mir on Wayland means that it suits both of us rather than just one of us, with just Mir being maintained. Because even with Mir being maintained, it's just for IoT type stuff, digital signage. So it won't really suit the needs of desktop or mobile anymore. Would
Well,
be
the
where you could see
biggest
the direction
problem.
going.
The biggest problem will be Android support, though, because if they do IoT, there
Yeah.
probably will be no Android support at all.
And also, we still want to have convergence, so all the GNU Linux apps are going to be working with Wayland, and that's probably easier to integrate with Wayland. So
Yeah, and
it's
all,
Mir.
yeah,
If Mir is going IoT, there are not going to be any. It's not going to be useful for us.
yeah, and also the question I get a lot is that why don't you just remove Mir? uh, I get that probably every day at this stage, but I would that's for the at this stage that is impossible, I would say, because there are so many parts that depend on Mir, and Mir is so tightly integrated in Unity 8 and the conversion, all the idea around it. So Mir at this point is not going away anytime soon. But for us to port to Unity 8 to a completely known running on top of only Wayland will take a lot of effort. That won't happen anytime soon. So
It's kind of like trying to rip the engine out of a car, convert it to an electric. You
yeah,
don't do it. It's a gas car. If you try to do that, you're going to end up with something that really isn't your car anymore.
It's a
yeah,
good comparison, actually.
yeah.
At
Actually,
least not for a few years until you get the work done.
that actually is a great comparison, and also you probably won't end up with a good car either. So
It's maybe even worse than it. It's if you are going trying to turn it into an airplane or a space shuttle, it's it just won't work.
But then we will also ship
All right,
SDK.
reply with that from now on. Why don't you just make it run on Wayland? Because it's like trying to make a car into the space shuttle.
Yeah.
This is our official answer.
yes, yeah,
All right. So the end goal is running directly on top of Wayland.
well, yes
Eventually.
and no. Both yes and no. Probably the best thing would be to turn Mir into to just a tool for us and just a client, and maybe that would even end up in a really useful tool. But that is not decided yet. But probably the main goal is to completely go away from Mir. But then again, that will probably take years, or it will take years.
Right. So the idea with running Mir on top of Wayland is that we're able to call both Mir and Wayland at the same time. So we can, if we implement new features, we can implement them directly on Wayland. And if we want to refactor the code base, we can make it run on Wayland also.
Yes. Right now, that probably won't work that well, since Mir is also handling the cursor and everything like that. So we have to have the more direct access. Mir, essentially, Mir need to handle less. We need to make Wayland handle that, and then we can start using Wayland more actively. But that's as it is now. Now it's just right now it's just Mir sitting on top of Wayland. But essentially, when we grow, we just make Mir into to more of a client instead of a display server. That's the plan around it. It will be hard, but that's the best option we really have. We really have no other option, to be honest.
Okay.
No.
Option for me to some reverse. All right, that's more stuff that we have already answered. Oh, he just edited that post. Maybe
Yes.
an FAQ would be a good idea. Yeah, that would be.
Yes, I think we already decided to do that on our last hangout, and at least I think it was Jan already had put some thoughts together for that, and the document that you have sent around last week.
Yeah.
We also have to improve the Patreon page to make it more visible what our new focus or what we're doing with the new stuff that has happened recently.
Yeah.
Other question, I don't know if any of you guys paid attention to the YouTube chat that was we got, maybe not a question, but Jesse said, I appreciate your work on porting Ubuntu Touch to the various Android devices you currently support. This is such a big project, and I wish you guys will get the required support you need. Well, we hope so too.
Heart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Certainly.
There are also some questions in the fan club, but before we do that, I will add something that Mari said about the Patreon. But we also have everything around it, like website and wiki, and everything is now targeted at porting. But I think that main goal has kind of switched overnight.
Continue at all, yeah.
Yeah, it's like after this news, this project has grown to. Before it was just a small shed, now it's a whole house. So I think we need to modify a lot of stuff to get the correct information on what this project has become.
Yeah.
Yep.
So website redesign.
Yes, and that is done. It's done. It's not published yet.
Oh,
Okay.
we've also got a comment. I don't know if we could move on, or would you say, do you want to talk more about the website first?
I'm done.
Okay. Dan Chapman, that's also the developer of Decker. He's also pointing out that the Ubuntu SDK isn't really working that great for most of the developers, and I think we can all agree to that it's, besides of developing web apps and scopes, it's not that usable for apps that really want to do complicated stuff. So at least that's a point for us that it's not really our concern at the moment.
Well, honestly, I think we should really move away from all this SDK thing. I think the new side of developing is using your own EDA or text editor or whatever, and then just run a command to compile it together. I think that's a better way of developing for everyone. But if we have this SDK, it's like you have to use this SDK. This is your tool, and you don't use anything else in this tool. I think that's a bad idea. Like if we are Google trying to make an SDK, sure, that would work. But for us, no.
Yeah, it's probably just too big of a task for us because it was already quite unstable under Canonical, and that's for the future us to decide. So
yeah, I also have to say I've moved away from the SDK. Like I think after my first web app, when I tried to start in with more real or complicated apps, and I've since then I'm just using mostly Atom, and also Brian Douglas has a few of the click tools and other debugging stuff on his GitHub page, which is really useful for developing apps for Ubuntu Touch. Even way better than the SDK.
When you're not using the SDK, does it stay like within the like design guidelines, or do you have to do anything special?
I don't know.
I guess we don't have an answer for that one.
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Also, I've just sent Florian the Hangout invite link. He just arrived.
Awesome.
Wait, to join us in a minute.
Okay.
Be able to
So we
answer
will
some-
batter him with questions.
Absolutely.
What do we got? What else do we got?
Oh, and apparently he is not allowed to join according to his to the screenshot he just sent me. Maris, can you send me the Hangouts in joining again, or maybe the new one?
Yeah. I just posted. Is he in the community team?
I think so. No, he isn't.
No, he's in the infra team.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go. Maybe we get someone else from the info team.
Okay. So, that has about exhausted the forum thread. So,
We have
Marius,
some
you said that
in-
you had.
We have another question from the fan club.
Yeah.
That's about sync services. Will there be some kind of Nextcloud integration or other services?
I don't think we have any plans for that yet, but my personally myself, I think that would be a great idea to have more tight integration with a sync server. To have your photos and everything backed up automatically is really a great thing to have when your phone goes to shit, and also a great thing to have if you have multiple devices like a tablet and you have a phone and want to sync between them, and also your PC, of course. So yeah, I think that's a great idea, but we don't have any plans for it yet.
But also, Daniel Wood, who was asking questions before, he's also the developer of an app called OnCloud Sync, which he stopped developing, I think, a few months ago. Maybe he wants to come back and put this app in our new store and maybe continue developing it. So that was already working with I think it was calendar and automatically syncing photos and videos. So we already have something that was working. So,
Quebec, I was just wondering, because you backed up some of the car apps, didn't you? Is there any sync stuff in there that hasn't been properly published? Because I know that Canonical was working on like a Microsoft backup for some stuff, and Spotify.
well, there's definitely
Music
some
app.
some unpublished code for other sync services, but as far as I know, none of them were really working, or at least I highly doubt that they will work now or anymore. We have to look into that if we could reuse some of that, but once again, that's assuming that all the other stuff is already perfectly working. So it's maybe something for later.
Okay. Oh, scroll back a bit. Okay. There was a question back to Anbox, if that's okay. Okay.
Yep.
Android push notifications, would they appear in Ubuntu Touch? I know it doesn't work yet in any case, but
No, that is also coming with. I would say that's coming with the new refreshment of the push notification system, because right now it definitely won't work as the system is now. But the plan there, at least to make it, at least after a refresh, then push notification. I hope we can get some tight integration there. But there is no official plan for it yet. But I think it's better to first focus on push notification on native apps first, and then start thinking about the Android side of things. But then again, I don't think it would be that hard to implement, since the Android API is pretty open. So every documentation about it is pretty clear. So I think that's would be something we also can get pretty early on working also, but there's no official plan for it yet.
There would also be the question of Android Play services, because a lot of apps, when you open them, if you don't have the Play services, it tells you that it's not going to work 100% correctly without them.
Right. We can't ship with Play services.
Technically, it's also illegal for us.
It's illegal, yeah. Well, you can download it yourself. That is allowed, actually. Uh, so, but I think we are allowed since we are a community. We have there's no one responsibility for it. So
Although we don't ship the devices, so
well, we probably are allowed to do it, but we won't do it. That's the answer. Uh, because if we get some deals later on with some manufacturers, that would be illegal. But right now, we probably could, but won't ship it. But everyone can download it yourself. That is legal.
So it is possible to install like micro G services.
Yeah, that should work just fine.
Okay.
A lot of the apps that ask for Google services will work, just some of them won't give you notifications or other little things. I don't think some apps won't work at all, I think, but the majority of them will still work, just with some features not fully working.
It probably is some games that require Google Play games or whatever it's called. But I think they would work without, but you probably won't get the multiplayer thing if you have an app that's multiplayer. But I think mostly all of them should work. At least it should work. The developer shouldn't be that nearsighted to just support only Google Play services, because not everyone has that.
But there are also a lot of apps that don't need Google Play services, like all the apps on F-Droid, and they might just work pretty well.
Yeah, and
integrating the F-Droid store into Nbox, or at least a custom version, might be a thing.
Yeah. But I also think that we should merge the open store and this kind of Android thing together, so it will be easier for the user to understand. Because if you have one store that's Android, one store that's, well, now it will be three actually, because one that's official, one that's canonical, and one that's Android. So I think we should maybe make more integration with each other, but there is no plan for that yet either. So,
but it might be possible. F-Droid is very open, and they have like a repo structure, so it might be possible.
Yeah.
Right.
We just have to make sure that everything that is working would work well with Ubuntu phone using that service.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Although we've got a few people asking in the fan club chat if there's going to be an integration of the notifications from inside of Nbox apps, and if they will be integrated in the Ubuntu Touch notification system. I think that's way too soon to ask such questions.
Yeah. I think we have a lot of other stuff to handle before we start modifying stuff like that.
Yeah, let alone that displaying or even creating notifications on Ubuntu Touch itself is already pretty hard.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it's terrible, and that's something we really want to fix, because notification is probably one of the main things about a phone.
Yes.
To have notification is probably the thing that makes phones so useful. To have Telegram tell you that you have a new message when there's a message, not when you already open it, and it goes 5 minutes after you open it. That's just,
or even after you closed it again. So
yeah. Yeah.
All right, we get it. The notification system isn't good.
Yeah, I will bash on the notification system until we fix it, or someone else fix it.
Fixed.
I think we've also got a few other questions in the Telegram group. Maybe Jan can ask them.
Yeah, sure. There's one about third-party components, like custom patches or custom code. Like, for example, Ophono. Could that be upstreamed, or could we? How will we handle that?
That would all be stuff in the compatibility layer that we have with between this in the air layer between that we share between Mur UBports and Plasma Mobile.
Yeah, there is also if there, because if it happens, there's no real
Yeah.
plans for that yet. But if that happens, we definitely would push upstream. I think that's the best way of doing stuff. And I think when we have this kind of working together, I think also we kind of will be the upstream if we get a big enough falling around that. But if we work alone, also definitely we'll push upstream, because for us to maintain such things alone is not possible. So
I think the question was, will we accept that in our upstream? So will we accept that in our repos?
in our repos, yeah, we will definitely push upstream. Yeah.
Okay, so it was more of a how do we handle the things that Canonical changed that
Well,
are no longer upstream that we're
I-
downstream of now?
I think we should go back to upstream. I think that's the thing to do. To not do things the canonical way. I think that's the best thing to do.
Sounds pretty harsh. Yeah.
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 Well, as Brian Landruk says, and he is true about it, we should follow upstream. We should not do our own thing,
Yes.
because that is we are not big enough to do such things.
Yeah,
Canonical.
it would break our neck. We are a way smaller team than Canonical had working on this. So
Also
it's-
unpaid and in our spare time. So
Yeah.
there's no way
Yeah.
we can achieve the same in the same time.
it's important to us
We cannot
to
afford
rely on
not
other
inventing.
people's work.
Yeah. So
Right.
for us, we will not do. The goal is to not be upstream on things. We want to, for us to be an upstream is will require a lot of work. So that's why we try to use upstream and either then push upstream. I think that's much better to have one thing that everyone pushes to, instead of Canonical working their own way and then the upstream is working their way and then just go separate way and doing dual work essentially. So I would say we will try our best to get the parts that Canonical ripped out of upstream to get them back to upstream.
Yep. We cannot afford not invented here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's see. Where do you guys see more questions?
In the UBports group, there is one.
There's another one in the live chat. It's about other ways of raising money. There's a guy asking for like a collection of Bitcoin addresses, IBAN numbers, and PayPal or Google Wallet, whatever that is. So I think there are already some links on our Get Involved page. That's ureports.com/get involved.
Yeah. We already have PayPal and Bitcoin as far as I know.
Yeah, and then we have of course our Patreon,
Yes.
and that's pretty much it for now. But there will be an IBAN number.
Yeah.
So for
I
everybody
think-
in Europe,
Well,
at some point.
the IBAN number is it's a bit difficult also because we.
Well, it's not. We can do that with the foundation.
But yeah, but right now we can't. Then it would be just go to a personal account really.
Yeah, sure. We can't do it right now, but we have definitely seen many people asking for that, and I think it's a reasonable thing to do in the future. But
We
not
work
Yeah.
on that. It's
Yeah,
not
but-
there yet. It will come.
When the foundation come, we will do it. But right now we can't really. It's not allowed really. So
Yeah.
It's in the future.
yes, as many things that we do is
probably
Soon.
a t-shirt with that. Yeah.
we are the future. I would say.
We are the future.
I found the title of the blog post.
Yeah, we are the future.
Are you going to write all the things up later on, Dot, in the blog?
Oh yeah.
Great.
So, wasn't there a Trello board that we had for this? No, that's a developer meeting. That's something different.
What happened to
Okay.
thingy coming in? What's his name? Flo.
What?
Flo's meant to be
Flo?
hangout.
Flo, yeah.
Sorry.
What happened to Flo?
He
What
can't
happened?
join for some reason.
Yeah.
I think that would be because we're already live.
Oh,
Ah, yes. That's maybe
that
this.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Sorry, Flo.
I think we will chat after the live hangout for at least a few hours like last time. So I guess he can join then.
Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
That's what I see.
Yeah.
There's one. Andy is asking when this one will be fixed. I say soon TM.
We definitely
Yep.
need a t-shirt.
Yeah, soon TM.
Put it on the back of the sweatshirts.
Yes.
There we go.
Pauline, if you're listening to it.
That's probably our slogan is soon TM.
Oh, also another question that I've got on Telegram a few seconds ago is where can people get this cool hoodies?
Well, now it's just for special people. Just for special people.
Soon TM.
Oh,
Soon.
Soon TM.
I
But that's
already thought about that half a year ago, and I wanted to set up a store, but maybe now would be the time.
I definitely think that would be another way to found a way to have a full-time developer, because at this stage I really think that's needed because we have so much work to do.
Yeah.
And to have at least one or two or three, if we had 3 people working on this full time, we would be the development would be so much faster than it is now. It would be so much. It would be unbelievable how much faster it would be. If we have 3 developers that just works on this every day, we would be set. So a store, definitely a good idea.
Yeah. We'll do that.
And that's something that
sometime.
we'd need. We need the legal entity for that first. So after that is all set up,
Well-
then we can sell things.
We are allowed to do that, but we have to mark the things that we get, at least in Norway. You have to mark it as non-profit work, personal non-profit. That's a thing that we have in Norway that I'm using right now, and we can use that for the store, but you can't set up any bank account around that. So that's
It's part of why we need a foundation.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do we got any other questions?
Let me read over here again.
Well, we are on the hour, and I think we said last time that we should do this just an hour. So I think the timing was perfect anyway.
Yes. So Chloe,
Alright,
this time,
so-
please, no 3 questions.
No 3
don't bring
questions.
it up if you don't want a true question.
Submit it to the forum first.
Submit it to the phone first.
What kind of flower would you be?
No, not again.
no, we won't
Nope.
start it.
There we go.
Use-
We will
Okay.
we will end it here, and that's it for the today's Q&A.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the questions, guys. And I think we will see each other in at least 2 weeks. I think we agreed that we do this kind of thing bi-weekly.
Yes, we do it
Yeah.
bi-weekly, and I don't know if everyone will be joining every time.
No, we also don't need, we don't need to be on the Hangout every time all together.
Yeah,
Right.
so I think we can shuffle around as kind of the idea of Ubuntu on air. We kind of stole your
Yeah.
idea. Sorry.
I already started going to beer to replace Poppy.
Yeah.
We have the worst bi-weekly podcast ever.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, okay, guys. Thank you for stopping by, and goodbye.
Thanks everyone.
Bye.
Take care.